affected by the hurricane. In Lutra, this island sustained significant amount of damage. Damage sustained was followed: 14 churches and chapels destroyed, 2 Episcopal churches destroyed, 13 Wesleyan churches destroyed, 14 Baptist churches destroyed, and 2 schoolhouses, 240 buildings destroyed, 56 badly damaged, 831 persons were left homeless. So imagine that, and that was a major storm. 8 vessels and boats destroyed, 16 vessels and boats badly damaged. Damage was said, and our damage was said to be widespread and devastating. The schoolhouse was blown down, many houses were totally destroyed, and many others badly damaged. Andros, the settlement of Red Bay, 2 churches were destroyed, and most of the homes were washed away by the storm. Many persons lost their lives when the storm surge came in and washed many of the homes. And the houses were still trapped inside. In fact, one account said that there was 12 persons in the storm was washed away in the South Bay. The storm came and washed them, all 12 of them died. And honestly, like 3 or 4 persons died. But it was really a deadly storm for our island. And that's the end. It's basically a brief. A lot more information is in the book, The Great Hurricane of 1866. And thank you all for coming, and thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need to tell you this is time for questions. If you have any, I think give them another round of applause. Love weather. Talk about it like that.
Fascinating.
Yes, I see that. Any questions?
Yes.
How long did it take you to gather all of this information?
From 2001 to 2004, I did research on all extensive hurricanes that would happen in Bahamas. So I went to the archives extensively and documented all the hurricanes. I went to New York, I got New York Times, the Sun Sentinel, and took me but basically for 4 years to document all of it. So for the next 4 to 5 years, I have a major book for the time.
Those of us who have been in the archives, I never forgot that.
Any other questions? Yes.
I heard somebody say once that it was a hurricane. Yes, it was 6 feet of water from southeast to Florida.
Yeah, the 1929.
1929.
Yeah, the 1928 hurricane affected the contributed to that. That affected the Bahamas, but wasn't as bad as in the Bahamas.
Is that true? Is that kind of water surge all the way?
Yeah, there are many persons. Actually, there's a gentleman, he just died, he said he lived in they were living in, I think they were living in very nursery is. He said the water was up to his neck, was up his father's neck. So it was flooding everywhere, so he said they couldn't move for days after. And in Andros, the 1929 hurricane, many persons said the water was up to 6 to 8 feet. And many of the residents said that actually that was the only time that the eastern shore and the western shore of Andros actually met. The seas actually met at that. He said we could actually taste how it was so good. Yes.
Well, what sort of notice did they get? Let's take from Providence. And a notice was available. And what sort of preparations did they make?
Actually,
bearing in mind it's hurricane season anyway, and
yeah.
even if they didn't know what was coming.
They didn't know. Actually, nowadays we know hurricane season is June to April. Back then they didn't. They didn't really realize hurricane season was occurring in the season. But they had most of them were sponge fishermen. They would go on the boat, especially in the 1920s, and they would take a barometer with them. They didn't have any notice. So especially, and if you know, most of them told, especially in the Southeast Bahamas, it was more significant in the Southeast Bahamas, and especially on the Family Islands. So they would take a barometer with them, and a barometer would basically, one problem is that the barometer you have to rise and fall several times during the day. So the only time they knew when a storm was coming is when they actually saw a significant drop in the barometric pressure. And once they saw that, they immediately made their way to land. The problem is that once that barometer starts to give an indication of a steep drop in pressure, that hurricane, the effects of the hurricane will actually start to be felt by storms. And my next book, that's Stuart, the first of June, I'm talking about the 89 hurricane, and that storm saw 339 Andros, Punch fisherman died on the west coast of Andros, and 39 unknown persons died in Nassau. So they didn't have much notice. So nowadays we're lucky because we can watch it from the comes of the African coast and into now. They didn't have that luxury back then. And they had telegraph, and if the commissioner knew that, commissioner on the islands had a barometer. If he recognized that a significant drop in pressure, the commissioner's responsibility was to go about throughout the island, throughout the settlements, and informing every person that a storm was coming to prepare. They had only hours. In most cases, they only had hours less than a day. Yeah.
I have a question. You said, so how did you know the speed of miles and hours?
It's a good question. Speed is related to barometric pressure. We didn't have anemographs. They had barometric pressure. If you know the Saffir-Simpson scale, the Saffir-Simpson scale that you have, they've eliminated the barometric pressure now. But barometric pressure correlates to wind speed in terms of hurricanes. So that's why you have category 1, category 2, category 3. And each category has a particular model. So it gave you a fair idea of what type of storm. And everyone had a barometer, so everyone knew what the barometric pressure was. That's how I'm able to tell you that the category 5 hurricane occurred in Abaco in the 1932 hurricane season. Yeah.
Comparing the storm to other storms in research all over
Every single one of them. From the time Columbus and Columbus.
which one do you think was the most powerful that
Well, in terms of, you can measure it in terms of intensity, you can measure depth forward. The T60 was loud because it was a lot. This was a large storm because judging by the damage it sustained, it definitely was a large storm.
were the reports in Nassau, the island over Nassau?
Yes, it went over just about every island, and every single island was impacted. And with the storm back then, also we also do that. And the commissioners back then, the reports back then were tremendous. Every single island had a commissioner, and after the storm, his responsibility was going around every single house, documenting every single damage that occurred, and reporting to the governor in Nassau. And he had to submit a report to the governor. And now the administrators do that, and administrators or commissioners do that report now.
All this historical journal session mentioned that I don't think there's another storm written on more than 1866, Mr. Arnold.
Yes, actually, the 1866 hurricane is documented all the way.
We've documented it several times.
Yes. Yes.
Just a comment. You mentioned that Hurricane Michelle was a Caribbean storm, but I guess it was going to be the Bahamian storm since it came late and had big behind.
Yes. And it was also.
I would leave that one out.
Yes.
How long did it take for the people to move up?
Yes. And back then the houses were substandard, and so the damages were more extensive and severe. So many persons were left homeless. So they gathered as a group. One person would build a house, then they would go to the next person and build a house. And the governor would collect donations from the churches here in Nassau and send it, and collect donations from actually in the 1866 they appealed to England. A significant amount of donation came from England because they were a colony of England at the time. So a lot of donations came, especially the early storms, 1866 to 1899 hurricanes, and even to a lesser extent the 1926 hurricane. They got donations from England to help with rebuilding efforts. And what they also did, especially in the Abaco hurricane, or in the 1926 and 1999, if a house was 20 feet by 20 feet, they would go to collect all the nails, straighten them out, they would collect all the boards, and they would build the house. Instead of 20 feet by 20 feet, they would build it 16 or 18 feet by 18 feet, and build it much smaller. So if you look at the houses lot of houses are smaller. So every year they build the houses smaller because they don't have any.
So what's the time period for how long it took to recover from this?
Well, in some cases, I would read, okay, for example, if a hurricane occurred and let's say in July of this year, and I'm doing a 1932 hurricane, that occurred in September, late July, late August, September. I read in the newspapers account from rebuilding until August the following year. We're still talking about that story. That's how it goes. And most of that is,
change?
yes, it's all over. Yeah, and they didn't have a budget then, so most of that, all of the budget that they have is absorbed into the hurricanes. More questions?
There are two books. The book is here. If you'd like to have a copy, it seems very interesting. And thank you for coming. And of course, we also have journals. If you'd like to get a journal, and like I said, this particular hurricane has been written on numerous times in the journal.
I was far away in New Zealand, actually now in China, but as far as New Zealand, I got it for that book. I got actually in New Zealand. That's how deadly the storm was. The New York Times sent reporters to the Bahamas to report on the storm, and they did a documentation. Many of them, before the storms, they also sent reporters and documented these storms. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.